We continue now at the top of Daf Pei Vav Amud Aleph from Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 86a. The Gemara is in the middle of a story of how Rebbe was mechabed ashirim, how he honored wealthy people. So the son of Bunyas, he said, clear a path for this guy because he has 100 money. And then another wealthy person came and he said, Panu makom leven masayim money. Clear a place for this guy because he's got 200 money. He's even more chashiv. Amar lefanav Rabbi Yishmael b'Rebbi Yossi. So Rabbi Yishmael b'Rebbi Yossi said to Rebbe, Aviv shel zeh yesh lo elef sfinas bayam. Rebbe, you should know, the father of this guy, the father of Bunyas, has 1,000 ships in the sea. Uchenegdon elef ayaros b'yabasha, and corresponding to that, he's got 1,000 cities in the dry land. He's far wealthier than you believe. You think he's 100 money, and the other guy you think is 200 money. This first guy is way more than that. Amar lei, so he said back to him, when he goes back to his father, and tell him, al tishagreu b'kelim halalu, don't send him in these clothing. He was wearing clothing. He didn't look so wealthy, so I didn't think he was so wealthy. Lefanai, in front of me. Gemara says, Rebbe mechabed ashirim. Rebbe was mechabed ashirim. He would honor wealthy people. Rebbe Akiva mechabed ashirim, and Rebbe Akiva as well would honor wealthy people. Kidedorash Rava bar Mori, just like Rava bar Mori. Some people say Rava bar Mori darshant. Pasuk says, Yeshev olam lifnei Elokim, chesed v'emes mon yinsaruhu. As the Gemara explains, Eimosai Yeshev olam lifnei Elokim. When is a person enthroned forever in front of God? Bizman shechesed v'emes man yinatzru. When he provides through chesed, when he provides food for others, meaning a wealthy person, that's why he was mechabed ashirim, because the wealthy people, they would provide food for the poor. Rashi over here says, Eimosai Yeshev olam bizman sheyesh bo ashirim shegomlin umizamnin mizonos laniyim v'hem yinsaruhu. The wealthy people, they give food to the aniyim and they protect them. Man lashon mizonos, a language of food. So such a person should be yeshev olam lifnei Elokim. He should always be sitting before God. Now the Gemara returns to discuss what kind of items, what kind of kalim should the Baal Habayis place in these areas in order that he's still considered to be the owner of these areas, so that the people who live there, he's lending out this area to somebody else to live there, so that the people who live there don't create a prohibition in terms of Hilchas Eruvin. So Rava bar bar Chana, Amar Rava bar bar Chana says, Kagon Yasset Shal Machresha, like the peg of a plow. The idea is that it's muksa, it's something that will not be moved, it's going to be there for the entire Shabbos. Amar Rav Nachman says, Tana Devei Shmuel, it was taught in the yeshiva of Shmuel, Davar Hanitol b'Shabbos Oser. If it's something that's not muksa, if it's something that can be moved around on Shabbos, that's going to still create a prohibition, meaning the person living there is going to create a prohibition because the Baal Habayis has no shlita in that area. Davar Sheino Nitol b'Shabbos, but if he places something there that's muksa, it's not going to be moved around, Eino Oser, then that area, that residency, is not going to create a prohibition. Tanya Namiyach, we have a brisa like this as well. Yeshlo tevel, yeshlo ashashis. If a guy has tevel, that's fruit that you didn't take off the proper trumas and maasros, or ashashis, which Rashi says is like a cut of iron, a big cut of metal. So that also is going to be something which is muksa. The chol davar sheino nitel b'Shabbos, and anything which is not movable on Shabbos, anything that's muksa, eino oser, that makes a situation that it's not going to be prohibited. Gemara now continues with the Mishnah. Haminiach beis of halach lishvos bir acheres. Let's say somebody leaves his house for Shabbos and goes to another city. Echad nachri ve'echad Yisrael. Whether the person's not Jewish, whether the person's Jewish, hareza oser, he still creates a prohibition. He still needs to join the Eruv. Divrei Rabbi Meir. That's the opinion of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says, Eino oser. No, person leaves for Shabbos, does not create any prohibition whatsoever. Rabbi Yossi says, Nachri oser, and Nachri is going to create a prohibition. Yisrael, Eino oser, but Yisrael is not going to create a prohibition. She'ein derech Yisrael lavo b'Shabbos, because it's not normal for the Jew to come back on Shabbos. Once he leaves for Shabbos, he leaves for Shabbos. Rabbi Shimon says, Afilu hiniach beiso v'halach lishvos etzel bito ba'oso a year. Even if a person leaves his house and goes to spend Shabbos with his daughter in that same city, eino oser, he does not aser shekvar hisiyam milibu. He's already traveled in his mind. He has no intention of coming back to his house for Shabbos. And the Gemara says on this, Amar Rav says, halacha Rabbi Shimon. The halacha is like Rabbi Shimon, that again, if he spends Shabbos with his daughter, it's considered like he left. He's not planning on coming back. But the Gemara says, v'davka bito. It's only true by his daughter. Aval bano lo. But if he goes to spend Shabbos with his son, he may very well return. The Amri Inshi, because people say, Navach bach kalb, if a male dog barks at you, O hole, you can come in, navach b'goryasa, but if the female dog barks, poke, you better get out of there. The idea basically is that when a person spends by his son, so he's really with his daughter-in-law, he might end up needing to leave. But when he's by his son-in-law, we don't assume there's going to be any problems. Rashi says, people will stay by their son-in-law. When people go to a person goes to his son, he's not thinking to stay there by his daughter-in-law. He's always concerned there might be a fight, he might have to leave. Meaning a male like his son-in-law, not going to be a problem. That refers to a female dog, meaning he's spending by his daughter-in-law, then already we're afraid maybe he's not going to stay there for the entire Shabbos. Gemara now continues with the Mishnah. Bor shebein shtei chatzeros. Let's say you have a pit that's between two chatzeros. Ein memalin mimenu b'Shabbos. You're not allowed to fill up from it on Shabbos because, again, in this situation, each chatzer has reshus over this bor, so it's a problem to take from that bor on Shabbos. Rashi over here says, Bor shebein shtei chatzeros chetzio bezu v'chetzio bezu. Rashi understands half of it is in one chatzer, half of it is in the other chatzer. Ein memalin himenu shezem memalin mirshus chavero. Elam kain, we're afraid you're actually going to fill up from the reshus of your friend, so that's why it's a problem. Elam kain asu lo mechitza gavoa asar tvachim, unless he makes a mechitza which is 10 tvachim high. Bein milmata, bein mitoch ogno. And that mechitza can either be below, which we're going to explain, or it can be within the rim of the bor. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, Beis Shammai omer milmata, that Beis Shammai hold it has to be below, Beis Hillel omer milmala, and Beis Hillel say it has to be above. Again, this will all be explained. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, finally, Rabbi Yehuda says, Lo tehei mechitza gedolim in akosel shebeineim. The mechitza doesn't have to be any better than any wall between them. It doesn't have to go into the pit at all. Any wall that separates the two chatzeros is going to be enough. So Rashi over here, first of all, says, Bein milmata begemar mefarish. The word milmata will be explained in the Gemara. Bein mitoch ogno, meaning ava bishena nogas b'mayim. What that means is, even though it doesn't actually touch the water, kalhu shekilu chachamim b'mayim. There's a leniency when it comes to water. Diamar bei good achis lemechitza. We halachically say that it's as if the walls are lowered. Uvilvad shetei besoch ogen habor. What that line in the Mishnah means is it at least has to be within the rim of the pit. Shetira kafsaka, that it appears to be afsaka. So when the Mishnah over here says bein milmata bein mitoch ogno, it simply means it has to at least be within the rim. And again, then Rav Shimon Gamliel has a machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, which we'll explain in the Mishnah. And finally, the Mishnah ends with Rabbi Yehuda, Min hakozel shebeineim shemafsekes bein hachatzeros umafsekes al pnei habor ve'af api she'eino nichnesas l'soch ogno. Rabbi Yehuda is the most lenient. He says it does not need to enter the rim of the pit at all. Just like you have a mechitza that might separate two chatzeros, a regular wall, that wall can run on top of the bor, doesn't need to enter the bor whatsoever, and it's still considered to be a separation. So now the Gemara has a machlokas amoroim. What exactly do the terms in the Mishnah mean? What does lamata mean? And what does lamala mean? Amar Rav Huna says, lamata mamish. Lamata means it's below, meaning it's right above the surface of the water. Lamala mamish. Lamala means it's right at the top of the pit. Vizeh bebor. In both situations, they're in the pit, meaning even lamala, it's got to dip in. The wall has to dip into the pit a little bit, but it's at the top of the pit. Lamata means it goes to the surface of the water, does not necessarily need to touch the water. Rav Huna is the more lenient opinion. For Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav Yehuda says, lamata min hamayim. When we say lamata, we mean it's got to go all the way down to the bottom of the pit, separating the waters. Lamala min hamayim, and lamala means not at the top of the pit, but right above the surface of the water. As Rashi says, the lamala of Rav Yehuda is the same as the lamata of Rav Huna, meaning it is right above the surface of the water. So Amar le Rav bar Rav Chanan le Abaya. Rav bar Rav Chanan said to Abaya, Had Amar Rav Yehuda, lamata min hamayim. When Rav Yehuda, again, the strict opinion that it goes all the way below the water, Maishna lamata mamish de lo darivi maya, he doesn't agree with Rav Huna because he says the water is going to mix. Lamata min hamayim nami harivi maya. Isn't the water going to mix if you put a mechitza all the way at the bottom of the water? It's still going to mix up on the top. Amar Lei said back to him, Lo shmi Allah chad Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. You didn't hear what Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav. Umatu ba mishum Rav Chia. Some say it was in the name of Rabbi Chia. Tzarech sheyiru roshan shel kanim lemala min hamayim tefach. That wall has to come up above the water, the surface of the water by a tefach. So it's a complete and total separation according to Rav Yehuda. In other words, when the Mishnah says lamata, it means there's a complete and total separation between the two halves of the pit. Vesu, and now the Gemara questions further. Vesu hadamar Rav Yehuda lamala min hamayim. If Rav Yehuda says that lamala means right above the surface of the water, so ma'ishna lamala mamish delo darivi maya. So what's the difference if it's above mamish, meaning it's just at the top of the pit, the water's mixing? Lamala min hamayim nami harivi maya. When it's right above the surface of the water, if it's not touching the water, it's the same thing. The water's mixing in the exact same way. Who cares if it's a little lower? So Amar Lei said back to him, Lo shmiya lo chadatani Yaakov Karchina. You didn't hear what Yaakov Karchina taught. Tzarech sheyishka roshay kanim b'mayim tefach. That actually, when it's above the surface of the water, the tips have to go in a tefach into the water. The bottom of that mechitza needs to go a little in the water, so it does make a nafkamina because there is some separation in the water. Rashi over here says sheyishka roshay akanim hatachtonim. The bottom of the mechitza needs to go into the water. Uvahapligi, the machlokas is the Beis Shammai bo mechitza mafsekas haratom. According to Rav Yehuda, Beis Shammai required to go all the way to the depths. Ubeis Hillel bo heker mechitza. Beis Hillel wanted to be a recognition. It looks like a mechitza, touches the water a little, but doesn't have to actually create a separation. So now the Gemara says, V'yaloha d'yamar Rav Yehuda. But what about that which Rav Yehuda said? Kora arba. Let's say you have a beam that is 4 materes bechorba. That's going to work even in a rune. Rav Nachman Amar Rabba Bar Avua. And Rav Nachman says in the name of Rabba Bar Avua, take a look at Rashi over here. Kora dalid materes bechorba. Kora hatechuva mechoma lechoma bechorba. Case over here is you have a beam that goes from one wall, it runs from one wall to the other in the middle of a rune. Kedera churbos hanoflos, basically like you have a rune where everything fell down. V'nisharim ben koros. You have some beams that remain. V'yesh berachva arba. Rashi says it doesn't mean arba, it should be arba. 4 tfachim. The width of this beam is 4 tfachim. V'mutelas al rachva, and it's placed along the width of it's placed along its width. So it's 4 tfachim wide on top. So mutter l'taltal tachteh, you can carry under that beam, which you're under an area which is 4 tfachim. D'yamar shnei chudei yardin v'sosmin. The chiddush over here is that the 2 sides of the beam, they act as walls, and they come down halachically. It's like you're enclosed by walls. To savar lok Rav Yishmael, Rav Yehuda d'amar mechitza tluya materes. The idea here is a mechitza that is hanging creates a heter v'les hilchas hakavase. That's not the halacha. In any case, that's Rav Yehuda's leniency. You need to have 4 tfachim wide so that these imaginary walls are enclosing an area that's 4 tfachim wide. If it's made for an area less than that, it's not going to be called a mechitza. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Pei Vav Amud Beis.